The Eagles win. And not only did they win, they dominated a really, really bad football team, right? Like a well-coached, good team can work through having a bad backup quarterback or an average backup quarterback. That wasn't going to happen yesterday. With Dak Prescott, the Cowboys were getting blown out, and they were getting blown out at home with Dak Prescott. Without Dak Prescott, you saw what happened yesterday. But it wasn't until the second half that really the Eagles kind of stuck their foot on their throat, the Cowboys' throat, and took them out. Really, really interesting point in the game because the Eagles are now 7-2. They have a 5-game winning streak. Everything looks great right now. Their first win in Dallas in 7 years. But this was a close game heading towards halftime. So let's pick it up from here. This was a huge string of events that happened here, right? The Eagles are only leading 7-3. Cowboys are driving. They're on a 12-play, 77-yard drive at the Eagles' 6-yard line. The 13th play is the first handoff of the game to Ezekiel Elliott, who fumbles it. A strip by Zack Baun. More of him coming up in a second. Cooper DeJean recovers in the end zone. Boom. Touchback. Eagles football. But they give it right back. Because Jalen Hurts 2 plays later is sacked by Micah Parsons. Fumble. Cowboys recover right back at the 6-yard line. But the Eagles defense held them again. First and goal. A handoff to Ezekiel Elliott for 3 yards. Second and goal. Incomplete pass. Third and goal. That's where Rico went for -2 yards, and they kicked the field goal, and it's now 7-6. But again, it's still only 7-6. And I started feeling like, all right, this can't be the Jags game again last week. The Eagles allowed the Jags to hang in that game in the first half, and then in the beginning of the third quarter, and then all of a sudden, a couple unfortunate plays, a Fugazi fumble by Saquon Barkley, and legitimately at the end of the game, the Jaguars could have won. And everybody would have went crazy and would have wanted Nick Sirianni fired. So that couldn't happen again this week. So the Eagles are leading 7-6. They had an interception, a fumble, a couple of punts, and they really should have been up much more than that. They were dominating as far as a yard standpoint, but they only had a 1-point lead. First and 10 at their own 16-yard line, 1:43 left to go in the half. First and 10, 16-yard line. They're only up 7-6. Jalen Hurts leads them on a 7-play, 84-yard drive, and it was capped by a Dallas Goedert touchdown. Welcome back, Dallas Goedert. 14-yard touchdown from Jalen Hurts. On the drive, he was 5 for 6, 60 yards, and he had a 24-yard run. It was a nice scramble to get him going. On the day, 14 for 20, 202 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. That was really the game right there because that kind of took the edge off of it. 7-6, everybody's thinking, man, under 2 minutes to go. Don't give the Cowboys the ball back. Like, how are you gonna navigate this drive? What are you gonna do? And it was great play calling. Jalen Hurts looked really good, and it was that was really the game right there. It took the edge off it. It gave them the lead. They never looked back in the second half, and like that was the pivot point of the game. Defense bailed them up a couple times because Jalen had an interception in the end zone. That was, I think, more than anything, just a great play by the Cowboys. And then they had the fumble, the Micah Parsons strip sack fumble. Like that's two turnovers in the first half of a game. How do you lose a game like that? How do you lose a game that Dallas to the Cowboys with a backup quarterback? You do exactly what the Eagles did in the first half last night, which is turn the ball over and not capitalize on scoring opportunities. And in that one swoop right there, they turned the game around and they never looked back in the second half. So shout out to them for that. Eagles defense was amazing again. They're not giving up touchdowns. Last 5 games, check this out, Eagles defense. They're giving up 10 points per game. Just over 200 yards per game, and 4 total touchdowns. 4 touchdowns in 5 games. So really, what was looked at as maybe a concern of this team, and I know I look at it as a concern of the Eagles this year, has turned into not only a dominating defense, but a young dominating defense. And their MVP? How about Zack Baun, the linebacker that was an afterthought? A 1-year, $1.6 million contract that he signed. Oh, no, he's going to make more money after this. And it's going to have to be in Philadelphia. They can't let him walk. Not the way that he's playing. He led the team in tackles again. He had 2 forced fumbles yesterday. And he, week after week, is coming out, and he is pretty much involved in every play that they're having on defense. He has played amazing. Eagles came out to start the second half. The wheels fell off for the Cowboys, and then it became a fun game because then they put Trey Lance in, then they take Trey Lance back out, then they're throwing interceptions, then they're fumbling it. Cooper Rush is throwing everything to the line of scrimmage. Trey Lance is throwing interceptions. He's fumbling it, and it was a fun fourth quarter. It's fun when Jalen Hurts isn't playing in the fourth quarter, at least most of the time, because that means either the Eagles are getting crushed or the Eagles are winning, or he's hurt, and he wasn't hurt. And the Eagles rolled on the Cowboys, and that's 5 straight. And you have a matchup on Thursday night that's going to be to be the leader in the division heading down the home stretch. This has been an impressive run for the Eagles, and you can look and you can say, well, the Cowboys had a backup quarterback and their offense stunk, or like, look at the teams that they've beaten, Deshaun Watson and the Browns. There's not one even little fiber of me that believes like that. The Eagles have, in the last 5 weeks, come into their own since the bye week, and since really Kellen Moore has figured out, all right, here's what I think this offense can now be after a couple weeks of growing as the offensive play caller and trying to figure out what to do. And Vic Fangio, man, we had a lot of questions about him early on. I thought Fangio would come in and he would give you a respected, experienced defensive coordinator that they hadn't had, or they hadn't had a good one, that's for sure. And man, is he doing a great job. And these players are doing a great job. A young, hungry defense. Their secondary is unbelievable. Cooper DeJean continues to make plays. Reed Blankenship continues to make plays. You don't even really notice Quinyon Mitchell because he's not giving up a lot of completions, right? And then Slay can come in and out of games and be injured, and it doesn't matter because this team is locking them down right now. I'm so excited for this match. This is a huge game on Thursday night. I'm excited to see how the Eagles react to it. But all in all, man, anytime you go down to Dallas and you win a game like that, a laugher. And we'll talk about the Cowboys sides of things coming up after headlines here because, oh, man, it would be fun right now to be covering the Cowboys because there is chaos everywhere. Chaos everywhere. And Dak Prescott's got to be feeling a little good about himself, a little bit good about himself because remember when, you can win with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott, you just need a game manager. No, Cooper Rush stinks. And he showed it yesterday. I wouldn't expect them to go 4-1 in Cooper Rush's starts here. First win in Dallas in 7 years. Just dominated them in the second half. And that's what you want to see from this team. They didn't play with their food. They didn't do what they did against the Jags, and they were in position to do that. Jalen Hurts with a huge drive after coming off a couple turnovers. Got him down, got him up. And even though they came out in the second half, they got the ball and they went 3 and out. They had a touchdown in their next possession, and the wheels fell off for Dallas after that. That was an awesome game.